Hey, I'm Brian Russell, and it's my absolute privilege to go over with you the Hebrew text of Deuteronomy 23, 1-8. This is one of those places where the English translation is off by a verse, just due to the way that they've transcribed the text. And so this will be in your Hebrew text, verses 2-9 of chapter 23. I invite you to turn there right now as we walk through this. Passage goes over who can come into the sanctuary and who is excluded. I'm going to do it kind of quick, so this will be a quick review. Notice that you have this recurrence of this imperfect verb all the way through this, and this is an unusual phrase. This sort of means crushed testicles. So this first verse is talking about persons who've been mutilated in some way. So this is a verse about eunuchs, whether it's been intentional, like they've made themselves into a eunuch, probably for a religious or an idolatrous reason, or they were perhaps, if this is from a later period, they were victimized and turned into eunuchs. But only certain persons who were whole were allowed into the sanctuary. The Old Testament had a rather high standard, so this excludes them. So persons with crushed testicles or whose, this is the word for male organ, or whose penis has been cut off, will not enter into the assembly of Yahweh. So they're not allowed to be part of the assembly. Now, who else can't be part of the assembly? A mamzer. This is a word for illicit sexual union. Traditionally, this word was translated bastard, but it's more than just a child born of adultery. It can also be incest and other illicit sexual unions that produce children. Such a person is forbidden in the assembly of Yahweh until the 10th generation. He will not enter for him. So a person born after him or for him, a descendant, until the 10th generation into the assembly of Yahweh. Then it moves to specific groups that can be admitted or can't be admitted. Now, if you're interested in this theologically, make sure you reflect on a couple of things. Nehemiah 13, 1-3 gives us some historical context for some of this. Also, Isaiah 56 envisions some reversal or some leniency on some of this language as well. And then, of course, if you get into the New Testament talks about boundary breaking with Jesus's kingdom ministry. So you're going to want to look at that. So who's excluded in verse 4? The Ammonite or the Moabite will not enter in the assembly of the Lord. Gom, this recurring word, even, generation 10th, until the 10th generation. Will not enter for him, so even offspring into the 10th generation in the assembly of the Lord until forever. So this is actually kind of a permanent sort of a decree, because the Ammonites and the Moabites did some specific actions that this text is now going to recount. So verse 5 in Hebrew, on account of the thing which, so this is a way of saying because, but notice the var word or thing, they did not meet you with bread or with water in the way. So on the way out of Egypt into the promised land, when, here's yatzah, this is an infinitive from yatzah. Notice the aphoresis of the yod and the balas tav added. Infinitive with a bait is a temporal thing. When you came out, men, from Egypt, and because literally he hired, but probably say they hired, this was the text note, talks about this, a lot of texts have this as a plural, he hired against you Balaam, this is proper name, son of Beor, from Pethor, Aram Naharaim, Mesopotamia, to curse you. Here's a Pe'el infinitive, so notice that form. But Yahweh was not willing, Yahweh your God was not willing to listen to Balaam, but Yahweh your God turned for you the curse for a blessing, because Yahweh loved you. Right? There's a nice, powerful statement. Call your God loved you. You will not seek their good or their welfare, their peace, or their good all the days of your life forever. Now then it says something positive. The Edomite you will not abhor, for hu achika, he is your brother. You will not abhor the Egyptian, for it's interesting. You were a sojourner in his land. Now, isn't that interesting? So the Egyptians get a break, and obviously the Edomites, that they were related to Esau, they're allowed. Children who they will bear for themselves, the third generation, he will enter for them into the assembly of the Lord. And so there's your basic verbs. Notice this one here, we'll say this. This is a first yod verb. That was an original first vav, and there you see an example of the vav that comes in. This is a nifal, third masculine plural, imperfect. Again, that's a quick run through there. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and it's my privilege to be your professor.